Can you escape from yourself? Is changing the self actually possible? I think that a lot of our experience as people in this day and age has been somewhat spent on improving who we are or seeking out some sort of change. And a lot of us have gotten to a point, especially with how prevalent anxiety and things like depression are, that we can realize that a lot of people are dissociating with who they think themselves to be. And it's my current understanding that a lot of that is stemming from somewhat of the societal implications of who we are as people. A lot of us are romantics in many ways, and a lot of us romanticize the lives of others and romanticize character traits and little bits and pieces of other people without taking reference to the entire photo. Like, we view people as all good, or we think that this person has everything going for them, or there's no flaws, or this person is this person is that. When in reality, everybody has their flaws and everybody has those things that hold them back. Just a lot of people aren't apt to show it. Now, with changing yourself or escaping from yourself, I feel like it's possible, but it's not worthwhile. I feel like any person who truly escapes from who they are or fundamentally changes a lot of aspects of themselves can only work in a specific box. They've taken away a lot of the complexities of who they are. Like, a lot of us are asked who we are, and we usually give us some type of simple answer like our name or a couple of traits that we identify ourselves with. But there's so much more to the person that lies behind the image that they're putting out or professing. Now, when someone is able to fundamentally construct their own image, they take away some of those complexities, because a lot of our complexities, even some of the good things, are products of bad. And if we take away all those parts of ourselves that maybe we dislike even in the slightest way, then we cease to be a person. Escape from the self is just escape from all in more ways than one. Like, social interaction or interaction even with yourself is only possible because of your own duality. We have to have some bad in order to recognize the good, and even in ourselves. You have to have some light to realize what dark is. Now, in reference to changing parts of ourselves and how that's not necessarily a great thing, is I think that oftentimes people, you know, run from the parts of themselves that cause them pain, but they're just running from who they are. It's those people who made that association with that type of trauma, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. However, if it's holding you back, it doesn't need to necessarily be neglected as part of yourself, rather accepted as part of yourself. I feel like it's because we have that separation, like, from these feelings, that we don't somewhat internalize them as our own, but rather a product of something, that we fail to shake them. Who we are can change. I just don't think that sort of thing can be forced. Like, I don't think you can fundamentally change who you are as a person instantaneously without any type of repercussion. So I think that you should not try to escape from yourself. I think a lot of self-improvement and um, becoming a better person is coming from accepting yourself as who you are. I mean, things only as are they are. It is what it is. And the sooner that people accept that they are just as flawed as everybody else and just as great as everybody else, they are able to improve upon what they view themselves to be, not what they think themselves to be. I think that the first step is to kind of isolate your perspective from the perspective or perceived perspective that you given yourself based on your environment. everybody has their own beauty in their own ways, and a lot of people fail to address that because of how society ranks beauty or how society views intelligence or this, that, and the other. I think that this is the same story being told 8 billion ways, and people fail to realize that they have their own. Like, we all somewhat have Sonder, but we use Sonder in a way to romanticize others rather than to accept that we're one and the same. To know that it is humanly possible means you can do it as well. You too can do it. So, why don't we? Are the things holding us back truly caused by ourselves, or is it a neglect of a societal impact? I think that society is a nudge towards conformity, mediocrity. I'm not saying it's all bad. Social interaction is great. But society, in terms of the propaganda that's used to kind of put us down or put us in a place where we feel as if we're less than those next to us. And another part of that I feel is because of the lack of affirmation we give to ourselves. It's so easy for us to affirm a friend when they're down, or your friend's sad, you tell them reasons they shouldn't be, or give them advice, tell them how great they are. If your friend thinks they're ugly, you're going to tell them how pretty they are, how beautiful, how handsome, blah, blah, blah. But when it comes to ourselves, we never tell ourselves those things that we need to hear. And we wait for others to tell us the things that we want to hear. And I feel like that's sort of a vicious cycle. The longer we allow other people to determine how worthy we are of praise or affirmation, the longer we're going to be stuck in a state where we aren't. The sooner we're able to give ourselves the parts of ourselves that need help, the sooner we're able to give self to ourselves, the sooner we will be more well-rounded and less dependent on external stimulus to find internal comfort. What we do is based on us, and it should be. Escape from oneself is ultimately giving up. The self, the soul, the thing that we're prescribed, I think there is inherent characteristics to it. I think that the reason people are different is not solely based on nature, or nurture, but somewhat based on their nature. Some people are just certain ways regardless of their circumstance. And I feel like that has to do with something that's beyond social, beyond the external, like who we are behind our reactions, who we are behind all of our memories. What's left behind after all of those stimulus and experiences are gone? And I think there is something there. So I think escape from that is ultimately a disconnect from the world, or disconnect from any part of yourself that's truly worth anything. This physical kind of experience is physical. There are so many more things than just the physical and material. I think we vested so much value in this external world that we fail to find the value that lies within ourselves. A lot of people don't look within themselves and see something beautiful. They see something that they need to change, or they see something that doesn't fit in. But I don't think the point is to fit in. I think the point is to be yourself and fit in wherever feels best for you. I feel like we've romanticized having, a large group of people who are behind who we are. And I feel like a lot of that also stems from how we don't affirm ourselves. We don't get validation from the one person who's here for us all the time. And we wait for people and others to try to give it to us bit by bit, when they're not us. So the implication here is to, instead of trying to escape from yourself, try to find it.